Hunter Biden, meanwhile, is scheduled to make his first appearance for special counsel David Weiss's tax case in Los Angeles today. He's expected to plead not guilty to 9 federal tax charges. This is happening just a day after the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees voted to advance a resolution to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress, setting up a full House vote on the matter. Hunter also made a surprise appearance at the House Oversight Committee's contempt hearing. He was not supposed to be there. He now is former FBI Assistant Director, former FBI agent and attorney Christopher Swecker. Chris, great to see you. Your reaction to the dramatics yesterday in the Capitol?
Yeah, a lot of maneuvering around. I mean, it was a circus, and it has been a circus for quite a while. Never has there been someone more entitled and more arrogant with more hubris than Hunter Biden. I think he's openly flaunting that this Justice Department would never enforce a contempt order or a contempt finding in Congress. And that's, you know, that's just systemic throughout the Justice Department. I mean, they're not afraid to be corrupt in this U.S. Justice Department. And I say that with great trepidation because I've spent 40 years working inside the system, and the system is failing.
Yeah.
I put this right at their feet.
Well,
he's flaunting them.
It's a great point, and it's the point that Kayleigh made earlier in the show. Kayleigh, you basically said Hunter Biden's people are taking on the DOJ because they know they're not going to do anything about it, right?
Right, because even if Congress were to vote to hold Hunter Biden in contempt, that's essentially worthless unless the Justice Department then chooses to prosecute Hunter Biden for that crime. So that's the question here is, do you think that the Biden administration would prosecute Hunter Biden if lawmakers vote to hold him in contempt?
I don't think so. I mean, given their conduct throughout this entire Hunter Biden affair, you know, they have allowed the most substantive offenses against Hunter Biden to lapse because of statute of limitations. They've thrown up a shiny object in California, which is tax violations, saying, hey, look, we're prosecuting Hunter Biden. Well, there are booming FARA, money laundering, and bribery counts that they could bring, and they just let them die. And I'm afraid my former agency, the FBI, laid down on that investigation completely. It's very disappointing to see. What
a complete shame. So far, the only person who's asked Hunter Biden a question is Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn. She questioned him yesterday as he was walking the halls. Joe Biden was, of course, calling in to Hunter Biden's business meetings, and she called it out. Watch this.
Mr. Biden, why did you put your dad on speakerphone with your business partners if he had no involvement in your business?
Do you have a dad? Did he call you?
Yes.
Answer the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
But why did you need to talk to him during business meetings if he had nothing to do with your business?
Hunter actually admitted that Joe Biden would call him during these meetings. With that answer, Devin Archer previously testified that Hunter would call his father during the meetings to get his take on things. Chris, your reaction?
Yeah, not only that, he extorted $10 million out of a Chinese business associate by saying, "My dad's sitting here in the room. I want that money." I mean, if that were anyone else, that would be a more than one extortion charge. I mean, you know, everybody has been exposed to all of these accounts, these shell corporations, the elaborate money movements, the phony loans. It goes on and on and on. And, you know, I swear, I think Lady Justice has taken off her blindfold and put her thumb on the scale during this administration when it comes to Hunter Biden. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the FBI and the Justice Department ought to be ashamed. I mean, this is not how the system is supposed to work.
It's truly extraordinary, and that's what we heard yesterday. And, you know, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who called out Hunter Biden yesterday, she's been on this program many times, and she told me she thinks it's upwards of $50 million that the Biden family has taken in from international adversaries like China and Russia. And others. Meanwhile, all they talk about is Donald Trump and taking down Trump. A federal judge in Nevada is rejecting a case challenging former President Trump's state ballot eligibility. The lawsuit cites the 14th Amendment insurrection clause, like the cases in Colorado and Maine. But the judge ruled that the man who brought the challenge, long-shot Republican presidential challenger John Anthony Castro, lacks authentic standing. We talked about this. Fox News' Martha McCallum asked Trump about the ongoing legal cases at the Fox News Iowa town hall last month. Watch this.
One of the things that Ron DeSantis said in a town hall this week was that it might feel good to Republicans to vote for you and support you in the primary. But he felt they shouldn't leave the general election potentially up to 12 jurors in a D.C. court. What do you say to him about that?
Well, it's a witch hunt by its weaponization. If you look at it, it's election interference by Biden, because he can't win it fair and square, so he's doing that. And interestingly, you see what happened in Georgia with Fannie Willis and $1 million almost to her boyfriend as the prosecutor of Trump. That one's blown up now. It's horrible what has taken place.
Chris, your reaction?
Yeah, these ballot, denials are a new front that's been opened up against his candidacy. I mean, that Nevada case is not particularly significant. The real significant case is Colorado. That's going to the Supreme Court. That will set the precedent. Maine as well, probably. So, again, it's just another front that they've opened up against this candidacy. They will stop at nothing. I mean, there'll be other tactics and techniques that they use. They're just, I guess they're afraid of him. They don't really believe in democracy. People are losing faith in the system here.
They really are. People are concerned about losing the country, frankly. Chris, thank you. We'll keep watching it. Chris Swecker joining us this morning from our FBI, and we'll be right back.